right, welcome everyone to our StrongerU Senior Fitness info session today. My name is Emily and I'm the founder of StrongerU Senior Fitness. I'll start by telling you a little bit about me and my background of how I've arrived to being here in front of you all today. And then we're going to talk all about all things StrongerU for the rest of our time. So I started my career in community chronic disease management. So working with older adults who were recovering from heart attacks, strokes, older adults with diabetes, arthritis, brain injury, COPD, really any kind of chronic condition that you can think of. And then I was introduced to the wonderful world of senior living, where I started my career off as a life enrichment assistant, and then a manager, and then a regional manager of recreation, where I supported 49 directors of recreation spread across the country. And it was really in that role where, although I had this incredible, amazing team of 49, only about 3 of them were offering high quality fitness classes to their residents. And it wasn't for lack of wanting to or trying to. Like I said, they were really incredible and I love them so much. But it was because for some of them, they had the education background, but they didn't know how to put it into practice. Or maybe they didn't have the education background, and so they didn't really know where to start. And they were looking through Google and YouTube, or had old outdated manuals and these sorts of things that they were relying on within their departments. And so first I searched far and wide to see if something like StrongerU existed, and I can see that it didn't. And that really frustrated me. And so out of frustration and passion, I say, as the story goes, I decided to found StrongerU Senior Fitness, and that was over 6 years ago now. And so we have the absolute pleasure of supporting teams across North America and internationally now. So that's a bit about my career, a bit about me personally. I have 2 boys. I'm a boy mom, just over 1 year old and 3 years old. And yeah, they are just the lights of my life. So yeah, that's about me. Now, I just see we have someone who's joined via phone. So we are going to do our giveaway at the end. So if you wouldn't mind just typing in the chat your name, and we'll make sure that we capture that so we can put you in the draw at the end. Okay. All right, let's jump into it. So at StrongerU Senior Fitness, our goal is to make senior fitness easy for you. All right. And so we are an education company, and actually the first of our kind globally. Like I said, I searched for something like StrongerU Senior Fitness, and was surprised that nothing like it existed. So created it. And so we are still the first of our kind globally. And so because of that, we do have established partnerships across North America and internationally. And so we specifically serve recreation, activity, fitness, and life enrichment professionals who primarily work in senior living organizations, okay? And then also some who work in community recreation organizations, 50+ centers, day programs, that sort of thing. We also have partnered with post-secondary institutions. So colleges and universities have actually built us into their curriculum. So that way, when the students from therapeutic recreation or kinesiology or whatever it might be are graduating as StrongerU Senior Fitness Instructors. Click over here. There you go. And so what we do is we have an online instructor course. We provide online instructor education and then provide you with 30 minutes of brand new seated and standing class content every single month. And you'll gain access to our 4 formats: cardio, strength, stretch, and circuit, which is our balance program. And we really try to take a different approach when it comes to our classes. They are not just exercise classes, they are fitness experiences where there is something for everyone, whether that person really cares about staying physically healthy, intellectually healthy, they like the social experience, they like to be mindful, whatever it might be. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. And ultimately, our goal is to help you to bridge the gap between knowledge and practice. So, what we found with all the organizations we work with is you can have a background in kinesiology or exercise science or have a group fitness certification, be a physiotherapy assistant, whatever it might be. But it doesn't always mean that you feel comfortable taking that knowledge and putting it into practice in what becomes a 30-minute, 45, 60-minute fitness class for the group that you work with. And so that's what we help you do is we help to empower you with the education, the tools, the actual monthly class content already planned for you to learn and teach, taking you from the bottom of the learning curve all the way to the top in just a matter of weeks. And this is like so cool what we see with our students, our college university partners that we work with, because we see these students who, they're maybe 20 years old, they've never done anything like this, and we get their practical videos and the education they're able to deliver while teaching their fitness classes is just amazing. And it might not be because they know what they're saying necessarily, but they heard it being said in the video content that they receive. And so they repeated it. And now their residents or their participants are gaining access to this amazing education while they're teaching. And it's so funny. We were starting to hear now from different colleges and universities reaching out saying, hey, I had a placement student who went through the StrongerU course and I was just blown away by the quality compared to other students who I've had in the past. We're also seeing with our partners, they're teaching the classes and the residents are just loving it. They're having standing room only because it's really elevating their class content. And then we have this other group who I would call like experts. We have people who've been teaching group fitness for many years, some 30 plus years in some cases. And so they still become StrongerU instructors and still love our class content because they hold themselves to such a high degree and they want to offer high quality fitness classes and not have to make it themselves. So they will become StrongerU instructors so they can learn and teach our class content. So whether you are on the call today and you are like, Emily, fitness is not really my jam, or you're like, I'm on this side, Emily, I love fitness and like fitness is my jam, or wherever you are in between, we have StrongerU instructors just like you who just absolutely love the program. And then secondly, debunking misconceptions about aging and exercise. Oh, I have so many pet peeves and there are so many misconceptions out there about what senior fitness is. Oh, it's gentle exercise. Oh, it's just stretching. Oh, it's got to be easy. We definitely are working with a population who maybe hasn't exercised in a while, who maybe has recently had a fall, who is dealing with a chronic condition, but there are safe and quality ways that we can help them to meet the older adult physical activity guidelines and actually see them get stronger and more fit no matter their age from taking part in your StrongerU fitness classes. So this is a lot of what I do. I just spent the first part of the week in Anaheim, California at the International Council on Active Aging conference where I was doing this. I was presenting on more mindful and purposeful senior fitness classes specifically this time around. And so just helping people to get more out of their fitness programs. All right, let's talk now. That was the background about StrongerU. Let's talk now about what this looks like, becoming a StrongerU Senior Fitness Instructor. So the first step is to complete the online course. It's completely self-paced and has frequent knowledge checks. So we know all of you are busy in your day-to-day roles, you're running around, and this is something that you fit into the cracks of your schedule. Maybe you do a little bit in the morning, you do a little bit in the afternoon, while residents are eating, or you have a bit of a break in the day. Maybe you do a little bit at the end of the day before you go home. So we see people doing this typically over a 3 to 4 week period, and it takes about 8 to 12 hours to complete. The next part 3 of the course, is where you practice your first StrongerU Senior Fitness class. And you go through what we call the guided practice modules. And these modules help you to learn your first StrongerU Senior Fitness class so you can prepare yourself to submit your practical video. Okay. Now, this is the part that scares everyone. I know they're like, oh, I have to film myself teaching the class and submit it. So I like during the info sessions to just put your mind at ease a little bit, that this is not as scary as it sounds. We are not expecting perfection in this video by any means. We believe very firmly at StrongerU that you are still learning even when you submit your practical video. And so we just see it as another stop on your learning journey, where we're going to say, great job on doing this. And we're going to say, hey, keep working on that. And we're going to give you lots of amazing feedback to continue your learning journey. Okay. You don't have to be perfect. There's plenty of room to make mistakes, recover from those mistakes. That's more of what we're looking for. Is not what went wrong, but how did you make it right? And if you couldn't quite make it right, we'll give you some tips on how you can make it right. And that doesn't mean that you're not going to pass. Like 99% of people pass their practical video on the first try. The 1% that don't, it usually is they did not read the instructions correctly of what we were looking for in that practical video. Okay. And there's no failing at StrongerU, and that goes for the knowledge check questions as well. There's only retake or resubmit. So you never fail at StrongerU and can't become certified. All right. But you are all going to get your certification. It's going to be great. You're going to get your pass. And so once that happens, you are certified and you continue to gain access to 30 minutes of new seated and standing class content every single month in a rotation of our 4 formats: cardio, strength, stretch, and circuit. Okay. All right, I'm going to pause there. That's a lot of talking from me, as you can tell. So this is a chance for you to ask questions on what we've reviewed so far. Just so you don't forget, if you've got a burning question on your brain, you can come off mute and ask, or you can throw it in the chat. Either is totally fine. Okay. And just while anyone might be typing a question in, I'll mention I will give these slides to you at the end in a follow-up email. So sorry I didn't mention that at the beginning. For anyone who's taking notes, you will get every slide at the end. Okay. Any questions? And if you are furiously typing in the chat, maybe just come off mute quickly for me and let me know. You can just say typing. Okay, Hillary, if I wanted to have my whole staff complete the certification, what would you recommend? Yeah, that's awesome. All together or on their own? Amazing question. So we've seen people do it both ways. We've seen people do it where, you can do this from a cell phone, a tablet, or a computer. So people can bring their own device and they can do it on their own device. So we've seen people do it that way because they're on all different shifts and different times and all of that. Some people are so excited they don't want to wait for the rest of the group. So that's one way. But I have seen people as well, everyone still needs their own device, but they do it as like a group team building exercise and they go through it together. And that way, if you have people who are more experienced and less experienced, they can work together. That's totally fine. So I think ultimately it comes down to the logistics of your team and where they are in the building and in the schedule to do it together or on their own. Yeah, everyone does need their own StrongerU Senior Fitness account though. The accounts are per person. Each person needs to submit their practical video in order to be eligible to teach StrongerU Senior Fitness class content. Okay, great question, Hillary. Beautiful. Okay, I'm thinking there's nothing else at this point. At any point, feel free to throw those questions in the chat, even if I'm not taking a little pause like I just did. And we'll also have time for questions at the end, but you certainly don't have to wait until the end, okay? All right, let's talk about the 4 formats we have at StrongerU. The first is StrongerU Cardio, and this program engages the heart, lungs, and brain through aerobic combinations set to music, okay? This is the biggest program and the biggest opportunity for return on health investment. Heart, lungs, and brain, so important, right? And this is the program we find is sometimes the most lacking in the organizations we work with. People aren't really sure how to go about it. I hear things like, I don't know how to do a chair and dance program. Not that this is a chair and dance program, but people just, it's the most difficult to try to do on your own. So this is the one we start with. So we ensure that you're able to meet the cardiovascular guideline for the group that you work with, right? The next program, once you're certified, this is the one you gain access to right away, is StrongerU Strength. And so this program engages the major muscle groups, again, and the brain through interesting movement combinations. Our program focuses a lot on the body and a lot on the brain because these are the two things that older adults are most concerned with. You'll have some older adults who, they want to stay physically active. They want to do their exercises every morning, kind of check that box off the list for the day. They don't want to fall. They care about themselves physically. And then you have a whole bunch of other residents who probably could not care less about their physical body. I'm sure all of you have heard this, Marjorie, come to the exercise program. And Marjorie says, oh, I'm 83. I'm not going to the exercise program. And you're like, but maybe you know that Marjorie really cares about her brain health. She's always doing crosswords and Sudokus and going to the guest speakers, and that's what she cares about. Well, that's when, through the StrongerU Instructor course, we're going to teach you how to market the program to her for the brain benefits. In fact, the research tells us that if we are to do cardiovascular exercise in specifically, or if we're going to do a Sudoku, the cardiovascular exercise has a bigger brain benefit. And then what we do is we add cognitive challenges, I should say, to all of our programs, including the strength program here. So maybe they don't care about their physical health necessarily, or they think it's too late for them to worry about their physical health, but the brain component is in all of the programs too. StrongerU Stretch. This is a 3-part program. It starts with a 10-minute dynamic warm-up before progressing into a 10-minute head-to-toe stretch, and then ends with a 10-minute guided relaxation where you actually get a script that you could literally read right off the paper if you wanted to, or what we actually recommend is reading it and then delivering it as closely or as loosely as you naturally can, maybe just, glancing down at it or, writing a few things out on a paper to sort of jog your memory. And then StrongerU Circuit is our balance focused program. It uses an air light ball to complete drills and exercises that promote improved balance and falls prevention. Like I said, I was just at a conference this past week, and one of the things that has driven me bonkers, one of my pet peeves for many years, is I go to a balance class and I see everyone just standing on one foot or walking a line toe to heel. Actually, I shouldn't say it drives me bonkers. I'm happy they are doing something. Something is better than nothing. But the research tells us that static balanced stances are one of the least effective ways to prevent falls. And so I'm so happy. So much more research is finally coming out about this. And actually at the conference this last week, I started to see people sharing that and talking more about that. Whereas in past years at these conferences, if I went to the balance session, the speaker was training on these balance stances, and it just was like, oh my gosh, drives me nuts. But the reason those balance stances don't actually prevent falls is because how often are your residents standing on one foot, right? You never have someone have a fall and say, oh, well, what was happening when you fell? And they say, oh, well, I was standing on one foot. No, they were going to the dining room and they tripped on an edge of the carpet. They were standing up from a chair to go answer the phone and they fell. They were in a busy place and they tried to sidestep out of the way and they had a fall. Falls happen while we're moving. They happen when we can't coordinate our movement, when we can't react the way we want to react. So coordination and agility is what we need to be working on in order to truly help our participants to prevent falls. And so that's what we're doing in this class. You can see the ball in the picture there. We're doing coordination and agility drills that really help older adults to be able to help themselves or get out of the way in a fall scenario. Okay. Right. Oh, I do see Laura's question. Laura, we're about to get to that. So let's just wait till that slide comes up here. It's in 3 slides. Okay. Um, and then at the beginning, I talked about the 6 dimensions of wellness. This is so important because, we put sometimes on the calendar or the program exercise, and, only a subset of people want to come to an exercise class, right? The exercisers, the people who care about their physical fitness. But we want as many people as possible that you work with to feel the benefits of physical activity as well as other dimensions of wellness. So yes, we definitely check the box when it comes to the physical dimension of wellness. We have a big focus on the intellectual dimension of wellness as well. And actually, when we used to survey older adults and we used to ask maybe, 10 years ago, what is your biggest fear? The biggest fear of older adults was cancer. And now when we survey older adults and we ask them what is their biggest fear, the number one answer, dementia or Alzheimer's disease. So older adults today are more concerned with their brain health than anything else. And so again, by you knowing what's important to your participants, knowing that they care about keeping their brain healthy and strong, that's how you can get them to come to your program and get the physical as well as the intellectual benefit. The emotional dimension of wellness, we get this mostly through the use of music and mindfulness. My grandfather had Alzheimer's disease, but he loved music, loved it. And so he wouldn't have been necessarily receptive to a group fitness invitation, but he would be very receptive to someone saying, hey, I've put together this amazing playlist and I think you're going to really love some of the artists that I have on the playlist. Would you come to the program and listen to the music and give me your feedback? And he was a walker. He loved walking, just not group fitness. But I know he would have sat down in that class and he would have loved the music so much that he would have still done the exercises because like that is just what he enjoys. So he would have still gotten the benefit, but also been able to enjoy the music. Vocation or sense of purpose. We know this, we hear it all the time, how lack of purpose is so detrimental to our health. And as our participants age, go into their retirement and beyond, we might be cooking for them, we might be cleaning for them. There's not a whole lot left for them to do for themselves. And so in the course, we talk about how to help them feel like they are a part of your fitness community, that they have a role to play and they aren't just another butt in the seat. The social dimension of wellness, just like right now, we are in a group, but I'm doing all the talking. And so we're not being very social, right? When we're getting a couple questions, there's a couple exchanges back and forth, but predominantly I'm doing all the talking. And that's what happens in your group fitness classes. You're at the front of the room, everyone's just staring at you, and we're not truly getting a social experience. So something we do at StrongerU is we incorporate group work, partner work, teamwork, where people truly get an opportunity to connect with one another in the class as well, and then foster those social relationships outside of the class too. And then last but not least, the spiritual dimension of wellness, usually through our StrongerU stretch class predominantly, where it's the mindfulness, it's the purposeful breathing, it's the inward reflection. So not religious, but some residents really feel like it's quite a spiritual experience. And then I want to touch on this very quickly before I get to Laura's question next here, and that's our physical activity self-management program. So this is something that is included with every enrollment. So it's not something extra, it's something that's included. And it is the opportunity to facilitate our physical activity self-management program. And so this is a 14-week program designed to empower participants to move their bodies and take control of their physical activity habits. So if you've ever heard of, diabetes self-management or pain self-management or cancer self-management, these are all different kinds of self-management groups that teach people how to learn about their disease or their chronic condition and then manage it effectively. So with this program, it's education about physical activity, the why behind what you're doing in your StrongerU classes. But then there's also this amazing peer support component where they are connecting and supporting each other and keeping each other accountable and helping each other through barriers and cheering each other on. And this just really creates this amazing, amazing community. And it ends with this beautiful program and celebration. So this alone is a 75-page facilitator manual that gives you the exact layout of what education you're doing that day. Then you teach the StrongerU class, and then the exact layout for the peer support following the program. So this is just a really incredible program. If your residents love exercise or you've been wanting to mix things up and start something new, this is something really, really cool that you can implement with your group. Okay, pricing. So every enrollment includes every registration includes your enrollment in the StrongerU Senior Fitness Instructor course and your first year of monthly class content. So the cost is $370 US or $466 Canadian plus tax. We do have department rates for teams of 3 or more. So Hillary, as an example, when you get your follow-up email, just reply to that and let us know how many team members you're thinking of, and then we'll give you the quote based on that, okay? And then annual renewal was what Laura was asking about. So annual renewal is $172 US or $216 Canadian. So with a lot of certifications, you're required to take continuing education, which costs money, and then you typically pay this renewal fee to stay certified. And you don't really get anything for it except for I'm still certified. So how we do things at StrongerU is every month when you get your class content, you're also getting education along with that class content. So your education over the course of the year is built in. So you're not having to go out and find and pay for a continuing education like you do with other certifications. And then at your 1 year, there is your renewal fee, and that gives you another year of monthly class content and education. So everything is built in, and we try to keep it super affordable. And to that end as well. So actually, this might be for Hillary and others on the line who are thinking of team members that they want to get certified. We have something called annual turnover protection. And so what this is if you register your assistant in the program, and 2 months from now, that assistant quits and you're like, oh, I enrolled them in that course. All you do is you send us an email and you say, hey, so-and-so is no longer with the company, but I've just hired this person, and we enroll them at no additional cost. So this is how you know your investment in your team is protected, and that you can enroll as many team members as possible, knowing that if any of them were to leave, you just get to enroll their replacement at no additional cost. Okay. All right. Coming to the end here, guys, stay with me. We also do have a payment plan option as well. So it's 12 months, $39 US or $49 Canadian for the payment plan. If you're interested in that, when you get your follow-up email, just hit reply and we'll give you the link to register via the payment plan, okay? All right, just to end off here, we see so many benefits. If you, after this call, need to go to a manager or supervisor and say, hey, I just learned about the StrongerU instructor course, I'd really love to take it. This slide is a great one to sort of help build your business case. I'm also going to give you a link to click on in that email that actually has a drafted email that can be the email that you send. Well, you have to make some adjustments, but it can be the email that you send to your manager, your boss, saying, I've just learned about StrongerU. I would love for you to support me by paying for me to take this course. So you'll get that in the follow-up email. But we see healthier, happier residents or participants, increased length of stay or participation, which means more money for your organization because they are living with you longer because you are making them healthier. We see increased referral rate. Oh my gosh, so many success stories, guys, of, 86-year-olds, 93-year-olds, 100-year-olds who are moving into retirement communities or long-term care homes, and then they are taking part in this exercise and becoming so fit, and everyone's taking notice and like, I thought you were moving into that retirement home because like you were on your way out, and now they look at you and they're like, look at how fit you are. Like, I want to move in there. Like, I want my life to be the way your life is right now. So it really does help to attract people to your program or your community, wherever you might work. And then I put savings there because we used to have people, quite a lot of people who would pay for fitness instructors to come into their community, but now they're the in-house fitness expert. So they can reallocate those funds to something else, and they're able to be that person who teaches the fitness classes. The average score awarded to the course is a 9 out of 10, and the most commonly awarded score is a 10 out of 10. So we really love that, hearing that feedback and that appreciation that, we're giving you education that is so applicable to what you're doing, which is awesome. A lot of words here. Like I said, you'll get these slides. You can read them in full. But basically, the first person was someone who was brand new to teaching fitness and was using YouTube to figure out like what to teach. And then her organization adopted StrongerU, and she was so happy that she could bring her programming to the next level. And then the next person is what I would call an expert. Over 30 years teaching. She says quite aware of what needs to be covered to run a safe fitness class, but she, as well as her whole team, takes the StrongerU instructor course because they want that new evidence-based class content to teach to their residents, actually participants in their case, well, both actually. All right, guys, we are nearing the end here. So let's recap. What sets us apart? We're the only education organization globally to offer 30 minutes of ongoing class content in 4 formats: cardio, strength, stretch, and circuit, which is our balanced program. Annual turnover protection to ensure that your investment in your team is protected, and holistic class content that incorporates the 6 dimensions of wellness. There's something for everyone, and you can truly get more people into your programming. Okay. This is just showing you this. If you click here when you get these slides, this will bring you to that email that I mentioned about try to get the conversation started with your manager of how they can pay for your enrollment. And on that, I'll just say, I hear sometimes from life enrichment managers or fitness managers or team members that they feel like nervous about asking their manager to pay for a course for them because they feel like it's for them, it's not for the residents. But remember, this is for the residents, for the participants, for your members. You taking this training is going to have a huge impact on their lives. So reframe it that this is an investment in you so you can offer amazing fitness programming to your residents. Okay, so it is for the residents. It's not just for you. Okay. Quickly mentioning about the Ontario funding of the Canada Ontario Job Grant. So if you are in Ontario, this is something you can contact us to learn more about. They will pay for a portion of your programming, and you have to apply for it though. So it is not guaranteed, and you do have to go through the application process. But we like to let people know about this as an option. And then we have our Drome for Seniors program that I'll just quickly make mention about. It is our unique combination of drumming and mindfulness together. Drum and Om equals Drome. And so this is our newest certification. And so next Thursday at the same time, we are doing our Drome for Seniors info session if you're interested to learn more about that program. All right, that officially concludes my spiel for today. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a moment, and we are going to do the giveaway. So every info session, we give away a 50% off an enrollment in the StrongerU Senior Fitness Instructor course. So I am going to get that set up. And just for those who joined via phone, if you wouldn't mind just putting your name in the chat. Everyone else, we can see your names, but we cannot see the names of those who've joined via phone, okay? So if you do want to be included, you just have to make sure. Okay. Let me see here. Make sure that
I'm not able to put anything into the chat because I am on the phone. Long story, I have a work phone and I couldn't get the Zoom app before the meeting, so.
So sorry, your name then?
Francy, F-R-A-N-C-Y.
Okay, F-R-A-N-C-Y?
Yes.
Okay, correct. And then the other person on the phone, if you want to let us know your name. Yeah, I guess you're right. I didn't really think about that. That if you're on the phone, you don't have access to the chat. Okay, well, I'm going to share my screen. And there we go. Okay, let me just make sure here. Juliet, Laura, Hillary, Jeva, Nora, Betsy. Okay. Okay, I didn't get the last person on the phone, so I apologize you're not included, but we are going to spin the wheel. Here we go. It's the most exciting part of the call. Oh my gosh. Wow, Nora, awesome. That is so close. I've actually never seen it do that. Uh, awesome. Congratulations, Nora. So I'm going to have a special promo code for you in your follow-up email that you can use to redeem for 50% off your enrollment. Yay, congratulations. Okay, I'm going to go back to the slides here. And yeah, now it's just open for any questions that anyone has. You can come off mute and ask or put them in the chat. Either is totally fine. You're welcome, Nora. Congratulations. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Don't be shy. You're welcome. Um, yep, sure. Yeah, no worries, Nora. Okay, yeah, no worries, Jamper. Bye. Okay, any other questions? Okay, all right. Well, normally I would close the meeting here, but Nora just wants to have a private word at the end here. So if you have no more questions, if you wouldn't mind just leaving the room, so Nora can have her time. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today. And if you have any other questions, hit reply to that follow-up email that you get. All right, thank you. Bye, everyone.